Oh my days. You know, I decided, F it. Let me just do it. Let me just start the stream. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. I had to just eat. You feel me? Oh, my days. Mm, 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 mm. Well, anyway, chat. We're here today. You feel me? We'll get another stream. I don't know how long I'm gonna be here today. Hopefully, as long as my body allows me. You feel me? Because some of the other days, I legit ended early because I was in physical pain, so I had to jump up. Oh my days! Y'all can watch the reruns though. That would help. That would help a lot. Not gonna lie. If you really like a real nigga like that. Anyway, chat. Let's get into it today. So I've been hearing a lot of stuff about June 30th, right? June 30th? Juneteenth? June what? Apparently, some of the homies gotta go home. I don't know why I wasn't involved in this decision. Clearly Ramaphosa and them, they didn't want to involve me because they knew how passionately I'd fight for certain people to stay. Make sure y'all like the video, man. Do the most, and let's get into this.
How, guys? I keep seeing 30. What's happening on the 30th of June?
And people are starting to say,
Bruce has got to be the only content creator at this point who doesn't understand like phone angles. Why is it always here? Why is it like really mad at the phone? He's got the uncle angles. You could legit just put it here like, yo guys, what's happening? Nah, bro, come on. Why? And why is that every video with him like touching his comb?
How, guys? I keep seeing 30. What's happening on the 30th of June?
and people are starting to say, Marambe. And then Bruce had to explain, no, guys, it's a skit.
You know, I almost was put on those videos
Which one?
with Fargo.
Hey, Naomi Zama, I'd do it.
If someone wanted your attention, what would they have to do?
And you were smart enough not to.
No, listen. So,
What are you saying?
No, I said it even in front of her.
No, he doesn't like it when people ask.
Questions about open chat outside of open chat.
Being in Buckingham, half and a lot.
But that's the teaching thing, bro.
I'm sure, Clef, I didn't see you there, man.
Where?
In those videos with Bongizo. You would have done well there, my brother.
Wait.
I kind of feel bad about this because you guys are going into people's comment sections like random people. I saw it on Bruce's video and I felt kind of bad about it.
He even made a video as well.
Yeah, they're like, 30 June, you're gonna go. Like, why would
They
you
said
say
that
Like, surely if you're here legally, right, this 30 June thing shouldn't really scare you. Like, surely that's the case. But I heard some other child got mob justice, got attacked by a whole mob, dog, which is very unfortunate, which is shameful. I'm not gonna lie, like, and that person wasn't even foreign. They just got attacked just because they were like dark skinned or something, dog, which is a bit mad. It's like, dog, I'm not gonna promote people just attacking random people on the street. You feel me? But I'm not gonna be like, oh no, the people that say that certain illegal aliens need to go home. I'm not gonna pretend like they're not making sense. I want the illegal niggas to go home, but the legal niggas, you can stay, bro, and stop attacking people like randomly.
Bruce.
Yeah.
How, guys? I keep seeing 30. What's happening on the 30th of June? Is it like a concert? Is it like a concert or what?
I feel like he's pretending like he doesn't know what's happening, bro. There's no way you don't know, bro. You need to unlock new angles, please, boss. Hey.
Yo, Mandisa, why do people keep on like?
Bruh, like you got motion, please. I'm sure there's no offense now. There's other girls you could introduce us to, bro. I'm like,
Commenting 30th of June on my post.
You might want to sit down for this. If you're commenting,
Mandisa's about to drop the hammer, dog.
you might want to. Are you holding my hand?
What's happening on the 30th? It's like a concert. Concert, not a concert.
But it is a mass gathering of people. You're halfway there.
And you know what's crazy? So Bruce made us.
Oh, Mandisa. At least she tried to let you down nicely, dog. Like, yo, you're going home. I'm sure Bruce is thinking how this is my home.
skit. You know when you do a skit and it backfires, guys?
Yes, I
Bruce
saw
made
it.
a skit with
What's
Siam
happening on 30
Tanda.
June?
No, he made a skit with Siam Tanda as if he walked into Siam Tanda's shower while he's
Oh
showering.
yes.
Why you acting like I'm some weird person now? You make me feel like I'm weird. And why are you recording, dog?
Dog, for safety purposes, my nigga.
Listen to me.
Okay.
I come upstairs to freshen up. I open the shower. Walk away. I'll show you why. Open the shower, yeah? Okay, fair. The shower is on. I'm about to
Make
step
me
into
feel
the
like I'm a
bathroom.
creep.
Shut the fuck up. I'm about to enter the...
I don't care if it's a skit. You're not gonna talk to me like that. I don't care. No way. No way. Skit or not, there's no way.
the shower and take a...
Calm, my baby girl. No,
I'm
we're not
naked,
gonna do
bro.
nothing.
Okay, cool, no problem. I'm about to go inside. Bruce comes, he knocks. I don't open because I'm inside. He walks inside. He can hear that the
Why are you
shower
making
is
me feel
running.
like I'm a creep?
That's exactly what it is. He can hear that the water is running. This nigga still walked inside the bathroom. And he's standing there. If you walk inside, you can see someone is taking off their clothes.
Come on,
You
relax.
step
man.
out. Don't tell me not to
This
do
is
that. That's
actually my
exactly what
room.
it
Supposed to
is.
be a skit.
That is a terrible skit. That's one of the dumbest ideas for a skit ever. Like a sexual misdeviance skit is crazy. It's dumb.
But now people were hinting that it's
Predatory.
It goes towards that. So now people
That's what it
got
was getting
really
off.
angry. They didn't fall for the skits. They were falling for women's rights now, and people are starting to say "Marahambe." And then Bruce had to explain, no, guys, it's a skit.
That would be funny even if it's a prank. That is such a stupid prank. Like, this is why I don't like pranking content. It's so dumb. Who would find that funny? Who would actually find it funny that you walked into this girl's bathroom while she's showering, dog? And you just stood there like a creepy ass nigga. That is such a dumb, like, whoever thought of that needs to just stop making content right now. That's such a dumb ass prank. I don't even lie, that's a dumb ass prank.
Yo,
Like, that's never a joke in real life. So why would it be a joke in a skit? Like, that's so dumb.
It was not a nice
Yeah.
one.
No, but it was for content, yes.
I think that was the wrong thing to put out for content. You don't put things that
Was she aware? Was Siam Tanda aware of it?
they
No,
all
it was
planned.
it was a planned thing. It was scripted. I don't think
It
such a
never
sensitive
happened, but they
topic.
stage at moments like it's happening. So
Yeah.
It's still really flipping stupid.
Yes, I think such a sensitive topic in South Africa or in general in the world
don't
is not
joke
something
like
that you don't
that.
joke about like that. It
Right? You never joke about being a creep. Unless it's like, you don't joke about being a creep. For example, like, bro, you see that whole skate cuckoo thing there, dog? I'm not gonna lie. Me personally, I'd never go outside saying that type of stuff, you know. Unless, well, okay, obviously on stream or whatever, you know, y'all see me be like, yo, guys, we're gonna do this thing, whoop, 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 you know, and then maybe move about Aaron and them, and it's just for the vibes. But 9 times out of 10, like, bro, you'll never see me doing that type of, like, I'm never gonna just pull up to branding people, yo, skate cool. That's how you go to jail, bro. That's him right there, Officer Bradley. Him right there, officer. That's the guy that said skate cool. That's the guy who said it. Now you have campus security pulling up on you, dog, grabbing you up, dog. Now it's embarrassing, dog. Officer Bradley, that's that man right there that asked me to skate him some cuckoo nani. Like, no, that's never like a funny ass prank ever. That's never a funny prank, bro. Switch the wrong screen. Ha. Anyway, yeah, man, that's never a funny skit. Don't even care.
was uncalled for.
It's a bad joke.
Make sure you like the video as well.
It's a bad joke,
so deaf.
and nobody's gonna take it like because even I was like, "Hi, bro."
Bachi, bachi, bachi.
that's Marahambe. People are starting to. And now Bruce is explaining, no, people are starting to.
You know what's crazy, man? If you're ever gonna leave a comment, like, this is not a hate comment, by the way. I'm not saying this is a hate comment. I'm just making an overall general point. If you're ever gonna leave a hate comment, never put your face over there. This guy's got his face there, probably his friends, his school, his family. Like, they can all track him down from this entire thing. His name is Ontla. Like, there's so much information. You know what I'm saying? Not gonna lie, I'll probably bounce on it. Like, chill, bro. Wow, bro. Chill, like, freaky ass chat, bro. My days, bro. Frog leg is crazy.
And now Bruce is explaining, no, guys, it's a joke. It's not real.
Frog, you gotta chill out, bro.
Marabachi still.
Wait, hold on. Why are you apologizing? What do you mean, why is he apologizing? Like, bro, he made a sexual misdeviant prank. If in such cases, I lost my sister from being Weber and Weber. So guys, please choose pranks wisely. Come on, guys, I'm really disappointed.
But the damage is done now.
Exactly, because even when you try to clean yourself
I
up,
get it, other
not everybody who
people
watched the bad joke is gonna see the cleanup.
I didn't see the cleanup.
I didn't see the cleanup as well. You're telling me
And that's the sad thing about social media, dog. Like chat, any single time you see something blow up the wrong way in social media, I'm not gonna lie, you'll never see the cleanup. Like it'll never happen like that, dog. The damage is way worse than the cleanup crew. I won't even lie. And like dog, the damage is done. It's chat. I'm sure 30% of everyone you offended is actually gonna see your chat, bro. Just what it is.
the first time right now.
No, he did the cleanup in the comments. He was now commenting to every thing.
So I was replying to every comment.
Not everybody.
everybody,
He was
yeah,
active in the
yeah.
comments, yeah.
But
Yeah,
see, I shouldn't
no.
have went with that one.
Yeah, I think that was it was not right.
And
No,
apparently
but you
they're
know,
in Zim
guys,
now,
when
ne?
we're cooking, when we're feeling it at the moment, it's always like that.
Are they in Zim right now?
I won't lie, that tunnel vision, like I don't think it can get all of us. Some things yes, but this nah.
I don't know. You're
I heard they're
updated.
in Zim. The whole
squad.
the whole squad.
You know, I almost was put on those videos
Which one?
with Fargo.
If someone wanted your attention, what would they have to do?
Yo, you gotta show me that you got that. That bag.
The bag?
Ain't you got a boyfriend? What's going on?
That bag.
So why?
No, not the bag. The bag.
What's that?
bag. I need the bag.
What's that? What's
Your boyfriend doesn't even own a car. And that's no disrespect to Drizzy or anything like that. I'm not saying that you gotta own a car, show you got a bag or nothing like that. But I'm not saying that's what you gotta do. But like, for your girl to pull up like this on a video talking about something to get my attention, you're gonna have a big bag. You gotta have the bag. It's not a good look. Talking about something, you gotta have the bag. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just her really just being disingenuous, like kind of pushing out the wrong message to people, dog. You feel me? It's just not the one.
The bag.
What's the bag? What's the bag?
If you know, you know. Talking about that type shit.
I'm gonna tell all y'all right now, bro. Every girl that you're gonna get in your life, you're gonna get her. The best girls you get in your life, you're gonna get her for free.
We in the scene, we in the workspace. You know, it makes us look good type shit. Also, the bag, that's the bag. Then the bag is send your account details. Then the bag is more personal. You understand?
Whoa.
Type shit.
Is it?
Let me tell you. Remember
And you were smart enough not to.
No, listen.
Oh, what are you saying?
She didn't even show up in the video. I forgot that we were even talking about her.
So you know how Fargo does those.
Oh,
Tell us.
You know how Fargo does those whole interviews thing? I know myself and I've seen the videos. I would never put myself in the interview, right?
Respect
I said no.
standards.
So he said no to me, right? I said no to him respectfully, but he's like, okay, we please at least do like dabbing up tents. And that's the one that I agreed to. I'm like,
Nah.
at least I was like, I'm not going to torture myself because I knew that at that moment I was actually like pop drunk. My alcohol levels were not okay. And I'm like, I'm not going to embarrass myself on the internet like this. But high five. What is a high five?
This is a woman, my brother.
I said no. He literally
That's
said,
what-
he's like, Gabby, since you don't want to do the interview, can you at least do the dabs? I'm like, okay, I'm cool with the dabs because I'm not verbally communicating to people online. So yeah. Right?
She's PR trained for real. I don't lie. I respect somebody that actually knows their business like that, bro.
No,
Name me asking me how much is my beverage.
But budget chief,
If I drag mine,
budget
I'm
chief,
gonna
no, I said it even in front of her. Don't try to instigate. I said it there. Chief, you're cooking, Chief. You're saying Fargo?
No, there was a video at a club
Yeah.
that
Yeah, Zama was performing. I came to support Zama, and then Fargo was. I think Fargo.
I forgot she's a DJ, you know. Chad, I think we have DJ inflation in South Africa, dog. We have podcast inflation and we have DJ inflation. We need to stop them. They have piano inflation.
When the whole Altito crew were hosting that day, and they just came and they were like, "Can we ask you guys questions?" And then we thought, like, I thought it was gonna be questions like, yeah, like, what do you guys like to do when you're at the club? What other? And they asked them, Togozisi and Sino. And I said that I even did this, guys. Like, imagine a whole girl doing this. I did this. I was like, because what do you want me to
I
say?
don't like that thing, bruh.
What?
You?
You guys.
But you know,
What?
what you don't. Wait, I want to know what he doesn't like. What did you like?
No, he doesn't like it when people ask.
Questions about open
Why did you not let bro talk for himself? Like,
chats outside of
Yes,
open chats.
yeah.
And
We'd
I
rather
don't like
deal with
it
it
when
here.
people be touching other people.
But what did they
in
ask
order-
you, Tommy? What did they ask you?
They asked me if like I liked Mthokozisi. Yeah.
If you liked him.
Yeah, if I do.
And
What did you
what-
say?
what
I,
did-
no, they asked me if I liked him, if I thought we had a future together. And then,
Who asked this question?
Fargo.
Why would you ask that?
I guess because of what you've been portraying on social media, it makes me look like an idiot. So obviously he's gonna ask me that.
Oh, you told her.
I don't know. Like, you know what, man? Maybe I was about to say I don't know how he's rejecting Charlene, man. But maybe he's so smart and he knows something that none of us know that he has to reject her. Maybe he knows something that the rest of us just are not aware of, and he understands he's not willing to deal with it. So I trust that he's not a bad. I trust he's actually a clever blue. So he kind of knows what he's on about. I'm not gonna lie, in rejecting this girl.
Which is not smart enough.
I said it in
So
front
they
of
tell you
even
the
in
questions
that
they're going to
episode.
ask you prior. Huh? The questions that they're going to ask. They do.
What do they
So
do
you
in
choose,
this,
you
in
choose.
these
Well, there's
functions?
another guy. It wasn't Fargo. There's another guy that asked me like some. I think back in January when I went for the opening of that club that I went to. Right, they would tell you like the questions that they're going to ask you prior, and then you start to film and stuff like that.
Bro, I'm curious as to, okay, let's say content creators book a house, an Airbnb for the weekend, ne? Sharp, we are there for the
Betty's
purposes of...
Would you do that?
No. They asked my friend. I would. There's a lot of things that
They asked you. Who asked you?
Betty's house. I don't know.
Oma is my friend. We
King
usually stay in the
Oma.
same
King
place.
Oma came for you, Zokanyo.
Oh my, I think
We
so.
stay in the same complex.
And why didn't you go, John?
Pardon,
And I even know that complex. I've been in there many times. I don't know how she's affording to stay in there.
yeah, get me
I
now.
did say, I even said to him, but you're aware
This hun is like she's hot online.
that I'm a bit older. I don't think I.
Some things are just off-brand.
Zokanyo.
No, but
That
who is
response
this?
was brutal, hey?
Is this him?
No, but I respect that though. Like, bro, if you like 25 going up now, you probably shouldn't be in Baddie's house or anything. It's for like anyone between the ages of like 19 to like 24, maybe 25 at best. You know, it's for like young adults, bro. It's not for people 26, 27, 28, 29 going forward. Like, it's not for that, bro. I'll be real. You can watch it, but not like participate at those ages.
Yes, that's him.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's the same profile picture.
And you, Gabby, I see you there, girl.
As a
Yeah.
Betty's house. No,
yeah,
for me it's
yeah,
off-brand.
yeah.
I will never be on a Betty's house. I would never be on
Why?
that thing where you're standing in front of my daughter.
Oh, pop the balloon
the
type of
balloon.
Yeah,
thing.
even
Never.
yes, even said that. No, I'm
No,
not
that's
that.
not
I
mine.
rejected
Still
him.
people's
kindly.
mesh pairs even now.
Yeah, most kind of
2026.
I will never get it. Never.
I don't lie, I thought Gabby would do. I get the
I also think Gabby would say
the
yes.
Betty's
to that,
house, yeah.
Betty's house, ne?
Pop the balloon, yeah, I get you. That one is extreme. I thought
No,
Betty's house.
the
you
Betty's
do.
house, I see you there.
No.
You don't see me.
Nah, I feel like you're deeping in too much when it comes to pop the balloon and things like that. Bare people do pop the balloon, like even famous people, like way more famous than she is. Globally renowned people can do like pop the balloon type of thing. It's not an ego thing. You don't have to be a certain status to be too good for pop the balloon. I Show Speed has done pop the balloon, dog. You know, he's done not pop the balloon, it's pop the balloon or one guy versus 5 girls, whatever. The Sidemen have done one guy, 5 girls. Like, you know, you can at the highest level of this internet stuff, you can do things like that. I'm not gonna cap. Make sure you like the video though, chat. Make sure that y'all like the video, y'all comment, y'all share, you subscribe, y'all do the most. 400 pack already gotten, trying to get to 500, to 1,000, to 10,000, to 50,000, nigga, damn it, nigga, 30,000, 50,000, 70,000, 75,000, 95,000, 100,000, and beyond, bro. Like, we just move. We just move brazy, dog. We just move brazy after that. I don't even care. One thing I actually wanted to watch really bad. Some political stuff. I don't even care. This is Professor. I almost called him Doctor. Professor Zhang. I'm gonna say Zhang. People say Jiang, whatever. Professor Zhang, Jiang, whatever. You know who I'm talking about at the end of the day, bruh. I'm gonna be watching Predictive History. This guy blew up and he knows what he's talking about for the most part. I think he's clever. I think his opinion is worth hearing. And this is how I stay informed, just like when it comes to like some geopolitical stuff. So here we go, chat. Listen, Predictive History. Professor Zhang. Zhang Jinju. Like, bro, what's he saying? Didn't put it there, damn it. Aha. But we watched the video anyway, man.
A couple of quick announcements before we start class.
Make sure you like the video, of course. Make sure you like the video, bro. I don't know what he's about to announce. I feel like he's gonna be like, I am not gonna off myself or anything like that.
Next Thursday will be our last class, and we will do the final examination next Thursday. It'll be the same format as the midterm examination, where you can prepare some questions, and we will review what we've learned so far in class. If you are on YouTube and you want to ask some questions, please leave the question behind in the comment section, and my wife will go over and select some questions for us to do next Thursday. Next Tuesday, we will do an overview of everything we've learned so far and make some predictions about the next 5 to 10 years, okay? So next week will be our last week. Today, I want to talk about Putin in Beijing. So he came to Beijing Tuesday evening. He had a full day yesterday, and then he left last night. And as you can see, President Putin and President Xi are very good friends. they went to a conference hall where they unveiled a photo of the two being very close.
You know, I know that they're always gonna go there talk serious business, but whenever Putin and them actually just wanna like really get into people's minds and really make them concerned and scared, bruh, they can just show up in pictures together and everyone starts trembling. Like the mind games that they're able to play, it's very clever. I won't even lie.
This is President Putin's 25th visit to China.
25th.
And in November, he's coming back to Shenzhen to attend APEC, and that'll be his 26th. He's a very good friend of China's, and the two are very close. This is the two of them at an education conference announcing a year of education exchange between Russia and China. And the goal is to enhance people-to-people connections between China and Russia.
That's a fantastic deal, bro. The Chinese have a very good schooling system. I'm not sure about the Russians, but they probably have a good one as well.
Major output of the meeting was their different perspectives on the multipolar world, okay? So this is a part of President Xi's speech, and this is part of President Putin's speech. And this is actually AI translation, so the translation is very bad. But I will point out certain things, okay? So both are committed to...
Of course, AI translation was rubbish, dog. But there's people that obviously write down the transcript, you know?
a multipolar world. And what President Xi and President Putin both want are more exchanges, okay? Bilateral student exchanges, deepen connections in universities, do more research together. He also is afraid of the turbulence in the world, and he's very much afraid of a return to the law of the jungle where might is right. So it's very important for...
I think that's very much what we're in right now, where the whole might is right type of law, almost said rule, man. Because America, like you saw what America did to Venezuela when they just pulled up on Maduro and just got him. They just got him, you feel me? Like a leader of a country just apprehended like that with little to no resistance. That's very much a might is right type of thing, and nobody is able to do anything about it. Even to this day, nobody knows what happened to Maduro. The Venezuelans themselves don't know what's happened to Maduro. He's in a cell somewhere, just in a dungeon, just having the worst time of his life, if he still has his life. You know what I'm saying, dog? But yeah, obviously, Xi and Putin are gonna obviously just try to upset the balance that America has now. You know, America has NATO, which is basically most of Europe and a whole lot of other countries, right? A whole host of other countries. So they're like, you know what, man? America already has a head start. We need each other type of thing. This is a, what do they call it? It's something of convenience. I'm gonna just say collaboration of convenience, the friendship of convenience, bro. Because they need each other. They have no one else to turn to. All the other major players have been taken by America over you know, a long period of time. They need each other now more than ever, dog. And with them two staying together, the global axis is a lot more balanced. I wouldn't say it's overthrown, but it's more balanced. America is Europe on its side, Russia is China on its side, and that keeps things interesting.
For the world to work together in order to maintain the rules-based international order. And what President Xi says is that as product...
You know, he has very like gay mannerisms, I don't even lie. He's like, the way his body moves, like very feminine type movements.
Members of the UN Security Council, China and Russia will work together to uphold the authority of the UN international justice and oppose all manifestations of unilateralism and hegemony, resurrecting signs of fascism and militarism, okay?
So they're gonna basically try to make sure that America can't just do whatever they please.
And this specifically refers to Germany and Japan.
No, let's let him cook.
Okay? So he sees the possibility of nationalism, a resurgence of nationalism in Japan, as a threat to the peace in East Asia and to the world in general.
Oh, he's using them as a point of reference. He's not saying them specifically are the current day threat.
Okay, so China is most resolutely opposed to the remilitarization of Japan. Putin says the same things almost, but the tone is very different, okay? So, first of all...
I forgot that Japan is kind of not allowed to have an army, you know? What was that? Was there something about armistice? I forgot the agreement. You know what I'm saying? Where Japan, the Japanese army just had to be a certain size. They really hold them, bro, with that agreement.
Well, Putin is much actually more specific than President Xi about areas of cooperation. Okay, so for example, the 10th Russia-China Summer Games, and also cooperation between different media outlets. And he also talks about how it's important to maintain independent, autonomous foreign policies, at the same time work together to stabilize the global stage. Working together for peace and universal prosperity, there's a logic behind Moscow and Beijing's joint defense of international law and the provisions of the UN Charter in their entirety, comprehensive and interrelationship, okay? So it sounds like they're saying the same thing, but again, the emphasis is different. Whereas in China, China's very much focused on maintaining the status quo, a rules-based international order, putting the UN at the very top, and for the UN, China and Russia will work towards ensuring global stability. For President Putin, what's important is that China and Russia take the lead in leading the multipolar world. Okay, so these are two very different conceptions of how the world should be run. Where the Chinese system is, let's just maintain the way things are, and we'll play a supportive role. Whereas Putin is like, no, Russia and China should be the leaders of this new multipolar world. China can be the leader and we'll be a junior partner, but we need to take the initiative in promoting global stability.
I mean, surely it's better if you guys both have a combined vision. You know, a kind of split vision. I don't know if that really bodes well for the long term. You feel me? Could it just be a situation where they'll be at odds with each other in the future? Or maybe one guy starts, his ego flares up, or the replacement guy, one of these guys, their ego flares up. It's like, oh, well, now that we're on top of the world, I think I should be the head honcho. It's no longer a joint partnership. It could be a situation like that. Oftentimes, ego does get in the way.
Okay? This is much more clearer, okay? Where this is actually a joint statement between Russia and China, where they advocate a multipolar world, and Russia and China undertake and call on the international community to adhere to the following basic principles in their relations with one another. Number one, maintaining open trade, okay? Maintaining sovereignty of different nations, maintaining decision-making through consensus, okay? Primarily the United Nations, maintaining authority of the UN, and respecting the civilizations of each different nation state. So refusing to prioritize one civilization over another. All right, so this is something that both Russia and China agree to. Now, this is actually a much better translation of President Xi's words about the multipolar world, okay? So let's read it together. The world today is far from tranquil. Unilateralism and hegemonism are doing grave harm, and the world faces the danger of sliding back to the law of the jungle. As permanent members of the UN Security Council, China and Russia must firmly carry out the mission and responsibility of major countries, defend the authority of their nations, international fairness and justice, oppose all unilateral bullying and acts that turn the wheel of history backward, and especially oppose all provocations that negate the victorious outcomes of World War II, or that seek to reverse the verdict on and summon back the spirits of fascism and militarism, jointly pushing for the building of a more just and reasonable global governance system, okay? All right, so this is a lot of words, but I will emphasize certain takeaways. First of all,
you know, again, the mannerisms are kind of gay. But I'm hearing him. I'm trying to just really digest everything that's being said over here, bro. With President Xi, I don't know, man. His approach, it's just, I feel like it's just more economical dominance. You feel me? It's like, hey, we're the big economy. We are the world's factory. You know, you come to us. We do everything type of thing, bro. I feel like that's more of his approach. It's less abrasive. You know, Putin is more, hand over fist, you know. It's weird, man.
What President Xi is saying is that there were three major winners of World War II. The United States, Russia, and China. And we must ensure that these three nations who won World War II are still in charge, okay? Okay, this is really important to understand. First of all, US, Russia, and China are allies, not enemies, right?
That's interesting. I mean, they are the three biggest superpowers. The UK, I'd say, probably was once in there. And then obviously they give up their colonies. But like, maybe they just lost a lot of clout on the global stage.
Because right now, a lot of people think that China and the United States are in competition to rule the world. And President Xi says, no, that's not true. We're allies because we won World War II together. All right? Second, he sees the real enemies as those who are trying to overturn the World War II order. And those nations, of course, are Japan, Germany, and Israel. And the last thing he will point out is that all unilateralism and hegemonicism are bad. Okay? If you act by yourself and you declare war against other nations, that's bad. So obviously, the United States attacking Venezuela is bad. Obviously, the United States attacking Iran is bad. But what about Russia attacking Ukraine? Well, according to this framework, this is also bad. Okay? According to this logic of what he said specifically, this is also bad. So it seems as though China and Russia are best friends and they will unify against the United States together. But this statement reveals that actually things aren't as simple as they seem.
I mean, Trump is the president that kind of goes all around the world globetrotting. He went to North Korea, he goes Russia, he goes China, he goes around, shaking hands and everything, making these deals. I kind of hear him when he says, you know what, Nem, these guys, there's a power axis that they need to maintain. Like these three big heads over here, they want to keep it that way. I can see that conversation being had. In my mind's eye, I can kind of see it, but yeah, I think Russia in particular. I think the Kremlin low-key wants to be up top, and then USA also wants to be up top. China as well has its own ambition, but it's not the ambition. The driving vehicle for that ambition is not the same as the other two. Theirs is just different. Like I said, it's more economical, triumph, whereas the other two, it's military triumph. They're more dangerous. Like, yo, we'll gun down anybody in GTA 5. Yeah, China's like, yo, you're gonna need us. We're gonna take over everything. You need us.
All right?
And you kind of see it like in how we have Chinese vehicles everywhere now. Chinese manufactured things and businesses all over the place. You feel me? I just feel like globally, bro, they're just taking over each and every single market.
Also, what's important for us to understand is that, yes, there are many areas where China and Russia can work together, but the cooperation is not going as smoothly as one would imagine, okay? So let's look at some examples. First of all, the economic cooperation between China and the United States, it is booming. What's happening is that China needs a lot of energy and resources from Russia. So you would think that they would build the infrastructure as soon as possible to make this trade as smooth as possible, right? Especially with this war going on in the Middle East, blocking China's access to the Middle East energy. But, and the main pillar of this cooperation is something called the Power Side Barrier 2, okay? As you can see, it extends all the way from the north of Russia to Shanghai. It's a huge project.
Yeah.
And everyone has assumed that at this meeting, the first thing that they would accomplish is signing an MOU, an agreement, to build this pipeline.
That's a huge project, That's a huge project, But what I do like is they really are just trying to cut out the middleman. And it's out of necessity. I wish my country would do this, where they just say, you know what, man, we're under the cosh. We need to find ways in order to make sure that should one of our main suppliers go down or get into an altercation, such as the one in the Strait of Hormuz between Iran and America and all other countries, right? We should have other options, right? And there's other countries in Africa that have resources that we need. Why don't we just buy from the Nigerians? Why don't we have our own diesel refineries and things of that nature? There's natural gases and all these other things in South Africa. Like, we have resources. I think there's natural gas in South Africa. And I think there was an oil rig off the coast of Cape Town, if I'm not mistaken. I think there was. So we have a lot of resources, bro. And there's other countries in the continent with lots of resources. We could be buying from them. I don't understand this need. We shouldn't need the Strait of Hormuz, basically, is what I'm saying, bro. Because we have everything else. Like, we have everything in-house in the continent.
And they have not done so. And
I think didn't they discover oil in Namibia? They discovered oil somewhere else in Africa as well.
a lot of it is because China does not want to become too dependent on Russia. Because obviously if you build this pipeline, then you must buy a lot of energy from Russia. But they want to still negotiate over the price as well as the volume, okay? So that's one area. Second area is Iran. As you can see, the Russians are absolutely supportive of the Iranians, right? So what Vladimir Putin says is this absolute unprovoked aggression of US bombing against Iran has no basis and no justification whatsoever. For our part, we are making our efforts to assist the Iranian people. Okay, this was last June actually when America bombed Iran. The Chinese, on the other hand, are much more nuanced and much more diplomatic. So President Xi says, Israel's military operation against Iran has caused a sudden escalation of tensions in the Middle East. Military conflicts are not the solution of problems, okay? So the Chinese are much more muted. And this shows us that whereas the Russians are much more clear about their regional alliances, China does not want to participate in disputes among different nations, okay?
I think if you're Chinese, you'd love that. You know, you don't really want a hard stance. Like when I saw Ramaphosa trying to take a certain country to court, I think he was trying to take America to court. Either America or you know, the other one. You feel me? You know, the owner of America, trying to take them to court. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, bro, can we mind our own business? Can we fix our own economy type of thing? At the end of the day, it kind of serves us to kind of do our own thing, make our own money, enrich our own people, enrich our own lands and everything like that now, instead of getting into a fight that we have no business getting into, dog. Like, we cannot hang with them, I'll be real. And the fact that China, who can hang with them, is still trying to keep this partiality and this neutrality. I feel like as a Chinese guy, you're going to be like, wow, okay, thank you.
All right.
Just focus on ourselves.
One area of cooperation between Russia and China is trade routes, right? So as we discussed previously in this class, what the Americans want to do is they want to block China from accessing global trade. And they can do that by closing off the Strait of Malacca, okay? There's something called the Malacca Dilemma for China, where if the Americans were to close off the Strait of Malacca, Chinese trade would collapse. So the solution is for China to build another route to the north, called the Northern Sea Route of Russia, okay? But the problem with this is that now you're completely dependent on the Russians because you're going through Russian territory, okay? So it's not an advantage of China to say, you know what, screw you, America, we're gonna work with the Russians. They're actually better off balancing.
Yeah, I see why Xi is moving the way that he's moving. He needs both of them. He's between a rock and a hard place because Russia is in a position, they're right on top of them, right? They're right on top of them. And America is right next to them. And then NATO is right under them. You feel me? And NATO is to the other side of them. They realize that they're completely surrounded, actually. Which is the clever thing from Xi to actually be like, you know what, I'm like keeping myself impartial. He needs to. It's a necessity, you know. Otherwise, economic ruin or economical instability.
Russia and China. That way, they keep both of these routes open. Okay, this is the most economical. This is the most strategic way of accessing global trade. Okay, but the further you look, there are certain tension points in the relationship between Russia and China. First of all, this relationship clearly favors China, okay? So this is a map, a chart of Russian exports to China. And as you can see, it's mainly just energy, coal, LNG, crude oil, okay? That's the extent of Russia's exports to China. And what does China export to Russia? Mainly vehicles, electronics, and machinery, okay? So basically what China does is it takes Russian resources, converts them into manufactured goods, machinery in its factories, and then exports it back.
South Africa is in the exact same situation. We're in the exact same situation. Like, genuinely, we just extract their resources, send them out, and then they get sold to us in a manufactured form for a higher price. And it's like, what?
To Russia.
And it's not like we're like Russia, where we're just overly huge or have terrible climatic conditions. You know, we don't have those debuffs. And we actually have like a large population relatively. We have people that can be skilled and we have skills. I don't know why we just don't do better.
This is a very bad deal for Russia. It's a good deal for China, but it's a bad deal for Russia, okay? So that's one point of tension. Another point of tension is the dependence, okay? So basically, China and Russia may be best friends, but look at this, okay? So Russia's share in Chinese imports is only 5%. And then Russia's share in Chinese exports is only 3%. So economically, Russia and China are not that close. The problem, though, is that Russia is heavily dependent on its relationship with China because all these economic sanctions imposed on it by the West, okay? So as you can see, what's happened after February 2022, when...
You know, how much richer would China be and Russia as well without these sanctions? Because they're doing all right with them. So, like, they don't really care. The economies are not going to really suffer from it. But America knows if they lift the sanctions, it's over.
Putin invaded Ukraine and the West imposed sanctions on Russia, the economic dependence on China has increased a lot, where in the beginning of the war, Russia didn't have that much in renminbi. But now, the renminbi accounts for over 40% of Russian imports, okay? All right, another thing is that Chinese investors aren't that interested in going to Russia and investing in Russia. Okay, so before the war, this is the war, okay? This is the war. There was some, okay, but there weren't that many. And then as you can see, after the war, it dropped precipitously. Okay, so why, and as you can see from this map, okay, maybe the Chinese are in the Russian Far East. And that makes sense because it's close to China. But as you can see, the further you go out, okay, here, there's really no real investments. Chinese aren't that interested in investing in Russia. Okay, and why is that? Well, there are different reasons. We can speculate, okay? The first reason, and this is really important, is that the Chinese are respecting Western sanctions on Russia. If you do business with the Russians, then the West can choose to debank you, remove you from the global financial system. And Chinese investors care more about the relationship with the West than they care about with Russia, okay? That's point one. Point two is that Russia is not that friendly to foreign investors. Russia is very much a closed system, and it's very hard to do business in Russia. If you're in the United States, and you put your money in the United States, you know you'll be protected legally and contractually. If the person screws you over, you can go sue the person in a court of law, and you can probably win the case. Whereas in Russia, well, if you get screwed over, too bad, okay? Russia...
Policies like that, I wouldn't want to put my money in either. I'm not going to lie. I know there's going to be a lot of smart asses that be like, oh, no, well, it's Russia, so I would do this and do that. Listen, oftentimes with investing, the obvious thing is probably the thing that will make you the most amount of money, or the simple thing. It doesn't have to be complicated and so convoluted and just difficult to understand that it's gonna make money. Like, that's not how it often goes, bro. It's really just simple stuff. Sometimes it's obvious and in your face. You feel me? So, bro, as an investor, you just know by that kind of reason, you can be like, oh, it kind of be a bad idea. It can work if you do it correctly, like investing in Russia, right? But it's nowhere near as convenient as going elsewhere.
Russia is still very much a mafia system. Then the third reason, and this is actually something that is really problematic, is that Chinese are much more interested in USD than they are in the ruble. Okay? They're much more interested in accumulating US dollars than they are in ruble. And this is the central dilemma of the Russia-China relationship, where yes, you can get Chinese to go visit Russia, you can announce a lot of cooperation, but at the end of the day, Chinese investors want USD and not ruble, okay? Here's another chart where, yes, okay, as you can see, more and more Chinese are going to Russia, okay? All right, so right now you have about 50,000 Chinese studying in Russia. But this does not compare at all to the Americans, where they are, when Chinese have enough money to go study in America, starting in 2008, you can see a huge boom, okay? Right? There's maybe 60,000 Chinese who are learning Russian in China. Well, everyone else is learning English, okay? So at the end of the day, Chinese people are much more interested in the West than they are in Russia. So in other words,
It's also like a culture thing as well. Their interest, like, is also just an ethos type of thing, as to why they just prefer going to the West. I know Russia, again, closed system like that. It's not as glamorous from the outside as maybe the West is. Is that part of the reason?
The relationship between Russia and China seems to be top down, where it's mandated from the government. But the relationship between the United States and China seems to be bottom up, where people are choosing to work with the Americans. And so this is not really an equal relationship. So what I want to look at today is, why is this the case? Why is it that the Chinese want to go to America, and what can Putin do about it? And what will Putin do about it, okay? So these are the two questions that we're going to look at. First of all, why is the relationship like this? And second of all, what is Putin's strategy of dealing with this? Okay, all right. So to answer this,
I think only a culture shift could really like shift people's minds over the top and start making Russia look a lot more attractive. You know, just culturally, people have a lot of media actually has a very, very powerful play in this, because media will have you thinking Russia is full of madmen and aggressive people and these guys that play chess and drink vodka all day long, but they're just like normal people, just like you and me, right? A cultural shift and a good marketing is the only thing I can kind of push. But America's always pushed the American dream. Everyone knows that. After a certain age, everyone hears the American dream, that entire spiel. You feel me? So that's why kind of they have a fantastic PR.
we need to go back to World War II. So this is the end of World War II, and America has won the war, okay? So this is the United States, USA. This is Europe. And this is East Asia, okay? Japan, basically.
Japan.
But also Taiwan and Korea. Okay, all right. So World War II has ended, and the United States has a problem. It's got all these factories that produce tanks, machine guns, airplanes. And now the war is over. So what are you gonna do with these factories? You can't just tell everyone to go home and not work, okay? So they make a deal with the Europeans and these Asians. Basically, the deal is this. The Europeans will agree to buy manufactured goods from the Americans, television sets, radio, bicycles, cars. But then the Europeans and the Japanese are like, we don't have any money. And the Americans are like, don't worry, we'll lend you the money, okay? Not only will we give you the goods, but we'll lend you the money to buy the goods, okay? And this is...
And then they just keep them in perpetual debt. It's very clever. We should start doing that to people, I won't lie.
And of course, the money is the US dollar. So the US dollar is basically a contract, right? And because the Americans are lending US dollars to the Europeans and the Japanese and the East Asians, they want the US dollars to be actually worth something, right? So the US dollars is pegged to gold, the gold standard. Meaning, the Americans can at any time force the Japanese and the Europeans to give their gold in exchange for the US dollars. Okay, does that make sense? And so this is a really good deal for...
I think we're at the fiat system right now, with the fiat currency system. I think that's where we're at right now, but it's just playing the gold standard.
For the Americans. And this is what we call the Bretton Woods system, okay? Bretton Woods, 1944. Where the Americans would facilitate global trade in order to maintain their manufacturing power, and they would lend other nations the US dollars to participate in this trade, and the US dollars would be backed by gold, okay? So from 1950 to 1970, this was a great deal for America. And this led to probably the greatest wealth creation in the world, where if you were just like a average white American male, you had the best life possible. Okay, this led to tremendous prosperity in America. But with prosperity comes corruption and complacency, okay? So what happened was that the Americans started to work hard, but then the Europeans and the Japanese were like, we need to work harder because we need to rebuild ourselves and we need to pay off this American debt, okay? So Europe started to work really hard, the Japanese worked really harder. And then what happened was that the Europeans and the Japanese started to make products that were actually not only cheaper than the Americans could make, but also better, okay? So then what started to happen was that instead of America lending money to the Europeans and the Japanese to buy things from them, they start to borrow money in order to purchase the European and Japanese manufactured goods, okay? So now this
Whole system flipped on them is crazy though.
relationship goes backwards, all right? Now, USA went from a creditor nation to a debtor nation. But not only that, but the Americans recognized that, you know what, we can print as much money as we want, so we can spend as much money as we want. And so the Americans started to do stupid things, like start a war in Vietnam that they could not win, like send a man to the moon for no particular reason, and the Americans started to spend way too much money. And by 1970, the entire world recognized that, you know what, America owes us a lot of money, but they probably can't pay it off with gold. Okay? And then 1971, Richard Nixon says, you're absolutely right, okay? We can't pay you off with gold, so we're going to move off the gold standard. Okay, so this creates a problem now because everyone's sitting on this US dollar and it's actually worth nothing. So to solve this problem, what Nixon did was he brought in to the system, okay, the GCC, okay, Saudi Arabia basically, as well as China, to create more demand for the US dollar. Okay, so this created the petrodollar.
I was about to say the petrodollar. I should have said it so that y'all would see how smart I am. I should have said it.
Because from now on, Saudi Arabia would only sell its oil in US dollars. Okay, and so this kept the system going. The thing to appreciate about this is the Americans did this.
I mean, we could just make like the golden rand, you feel me? You get me, like the platinum rand. We produce a lot of things at very high quantities. And we have large reserves of them. Coal as well, the coal rand. Like, we could low-key back ourselves up with like our currency with a couple of resources. You feel me? Like, in a way, if done correctly. But like with America, they fucked it up towards the end. So where would we run if we fuck it up? Like, who's gonna bail us out?
Not because it was strategic.
We're not gonna get a petrol rand.
Not because it showed long-term thinking, but because the Americans by now have become addicted to the US dollar. Do you understand this idea? This is really important for you guys to understand. At this point in history, the US dollar was the global reserve currency. The global reserve currency is unique in human history. We've never had the idea of a global reserve currency where one currency could be the basis for value of all other currencies. Okay? Never has this happened before. What had happened? Because of an accident of World War II, when the Americans won and can impose their system on everyone else. Okay? And before it was tied to gold, and they went off the gold standard. So this is a complete accident of history. And it's terrible for America for many reasons, okay? The first reason is that it's the guarantor of global trade. What does that mean, to be a guarantor of global trade? Well, first of all, it means you have to print a lot of US dollars, okay? Access liquidity. Okay? You have to print a lot of US dollars so people can use US dollars. And this causes inflation in your system. And it's hard to manage, okay? Second problem is something called an open capital account. What does an open capital account means? It means like I can change the US dollar anytime I want. So money can come into the country, but it can also flee the country. Okay? And that's really problematic if you're trying to control a nation's currency. All right? And the third thing is financial.
How do you track all of that money? No wonder there's so much money laundering going around, bro. It's difficult to track that. Ooh.
Financialization. Because there's so much demand for US dollars, because US dollars is so complex to manage, your economy shifts from manufacturing to financialization. Financialization just means gambling, okay? So this has been terrible for America, the American economy. The problem is that once you have easy money, it becomes addictive, okay? And so the way to protect the system is by expansion, war. You don't care if expanding your system makes any sense. You don't care if expanding your system is good for your nation. All you want to do is expand it in order to create more demand for US dollar because you're so addicted to it, okay? And you have to go fight wars in order to protect the US dollar, right? So this is what leads us to China. So to create China, what America did was destroy its middle class and transfer its manufacturing sector to China. It gave China technology, capital, as well as market access. Okay? And the entire intention was to create more demand for the US dollar. Okay? And this also explains the war.
Damn, so wait, from Merging, they kind of do that on purpose just to trump up demand. But that long term doesn't work because now China has all this expertise and they already are the manufacturing hub of the world. So eventually, in the long term, China that manufactures everything can do it better than everybody else. Everyone will go and buy from China, and then that's why Trump kind of imposed these sanctions and these tariffs so that it's cheaper to manufacture in house in America. It's like it's a loop, and they keep going back and forth.
Or in Iran, where Iran is not part of the system, and so America wants to destroy Iran in order to make everyone else more dependent on the system. Okay? All right. Now, why did China agree to participate in the system? Because the US dollar solved for China a huge problem. Okay? Huge problem is this. The US dollar, I need you guys to appreciate this, it monetized power. Okay? So I'm an elite in China, and I control millions of people. But so what? Who cares? What the US dollar did was it enabled me to monetize my power. Meaning now that I could take this power and store its value in the US dollar and then export it to the United States where it would be safe. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay? This is what it did. It monetized power in China. Now the elite could
Offshore accounts?
use their power over the people and get rich in America. Okay? So in other words, there were two major beneficiaries of this system that was created, even though this system doesn't really make any sense. The first, of course, is the American elite, the American financial elite. And the second is the Chinese political elite. Okay? And this explains why it's so hard for Putin and for Russia to form an alliance with China.
That's crazy, bro. The way it all ties in, like, bro, these niggas are in bed together and they in deep, bro. Crack to crack. So it's just financial castration then if they fully just like endorse Russia. And I know a lot of the powers that be, the people with the money are just not gonna be happy about it, bro. They're just not gonna be happy about it, bro. Oh, my boy. Yeah, no, chat. I'm gonna check y'all out, bro. My eyes are hurting. I don't even lie, my eyes are bleeding. But W video, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, bro. Professor Zhang, Predictive History. Make sure you check him out. That's where I learned a lot of this geopolitical stuff. You know, he makes it make sense. I know he talks a bit fast, or he just talks a bit expressive, but he makes it make sense.